Hello, hello, and welcome. My name is Simone Hodgkinson, and I'm going to guide you through a quick stretch for the hips and hamstrings. We're going to start lying on the back, and for today's program, you'll need 2 large towels and a strap. So lying on the back to start with your strap. Ideally, when you're lying on the back, if your head is tilted and your chin is up higher than your forehead, we would request that you pop something under your head, maybe one of those folded towels. And let's start stretching the hamstrings. So bring your right leg in, place the strap across the back of the heel, and then straighten out the leg. Now, as you straighten this leg, you want to make sure that the back of the buttocks are down on the floor, the back of the pelvis is heavy, and watch for the back of the knee. Try and open out the 4 corners of the back of the knee, and it doesn't matter where your leg is, as long as it's nice and straight. So with the leg perfectly straight, back of the buttocks heavy on the floor, lift up through the back of the heel bone, drawing the toes down towards you. And can you square the foot? Maybe press up through the mound of the big toe, pull back through the mound of the baby toe. Foot is square, leg is straight, hamstrings are saying hello. Now, if there's no discomfort in the lower back, there's no lower back issues, you can extend the opposite leg out along the floor. But try not to just relax it. Keep that bottom leg extended and connected so we can keep your pelvis nice and still. If that bothers your lower back, or if your left calf muscle is not touching the floor, then keep the leg bent. So this is a great daily stretch for the hamstring. Next one, we're going to get into the outer hip. So bring your left hand onto the strap, place your right arm on the floor, take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, pull the leg all the way across the body. Let that hip come up off the floor, but please keep the right shoulder down. Keep that right leg nice and straight. Press out into the heel bone and feel that fabulous release through the IT band, the lower back, and that outer hip area. And if your opposite shoulder's coming off the floor, you've gone too far with the leg. So lift it up and please keep that right shoulder nice and heavy on the floor. Keeping that right leg nice and straight. And then bring that leg all the way back up to the center. And let's do the same thing on the left side. So both knees bent to start. Left leg comes in. Strap goes across the back of the heel. And you find a place, wherever the leg is, you find a place where it can be straight. The hamstring inserts through the back of the knee towards the lower leg. So it's really important that that back of the knee is open. So nice straight leg, grounded through the back of the buttocks and the pelvis, lifting through the back of the heel bone, squaring off that foot, so the big toe mound presses slightly up, the baby toe mound pulls slightly back, and we say, hello, hamstrings. Once again, if there's no concerns in the lower back, the right leg could go out straight, and we breathe and hold into this fabulous hamstring stretch. Now moving on, take the strap into your right hand take your left arm out to the side, deep breath in, and then pull that left leg across the body. Allow that hip to lift up. Allow the buttock to lift up. Your right leg will now turn out and flop to the side, but your left leg is not allowed to flop. Left leg straight, reaching into the heel bone. Fabulous release through the lateral hip, IT band, also into the lower back. Be careful, you've got to have that left shoulder on the floor. That's your anchor in the pose. And then inhale, bring that leg all the way back up to the center. Bend the knee, remove the strap, and now roll to the side and bring yourself up. Our next pose, if you could please grab a folded blanket or towel on the mat and then kneel on top. We're going for the hip flexor, the psoas major. We're going to take our right leg forward and we're going to adopt a position that we call the proposal position. So I've got my head over my hip, right leg forward. I'm grounding into that right foot so there's a sense of stability. Then I'm going to squeeze on the glutes, pressing the hips slightly forward. I allow the body to lift and lengthen and lean slightly back. And that should evoke a fabulous feeling through the front of the thigh into the front of that hip on that left side. So this is an active stretch. We're using the muscles of the body to support you whilst trying to get that release here on the psoas major. And we should stretch this muscle every single day. Now release and change over. Left leg goes forward. Make sure your knee is over your ankle. You don't want to have it pushing over your toe. So good stride. Nice upright proposal position. Roll the shoulders into neutral. You can have your hands on your waist or your hips. Press down into the left foot. Squeeze on the glutes. Press that hip forward towards the top of the mat. Lean the torso slightly back. And it doesn't look like we're doing very much, but this is a fabulous stretch on the hip flexor. And now the hip flexor originates from all the lumbar vertebrae and inserts into the head of the femur. So you have to stretch it every day, because otherwise it's pulling on your back constantly. Hip flexor stretch is a fabulous stretch for the health of your lower back and also your knee alignment. And now release. Great. So that was the front of the hip. Now we're going to get into the posterior hip as we move into pigeon pose next. To do this one safely, take your towels, fold them until it's nice and thick. So both of them, nice and thick. And I'm going to start with the towels. I'm going to put them on the left-hand side so that you can see better as we begin. So towels folded to the left. You start on your hands and knees. Then you're going to take your left leg and you're going to slide it forward. Right leg is stretching back. Now, if I tried to sit down onto my left buttock, I would be completely twisted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the props. You might need 2, you might need 3, you might need 1. And it's just going to go under the edge of the buttocks. That should enable you to get a nice square pelvis at the back of the body. And that's really important. Now draw your shoulders back and sit up. Couple of things to note is there should be absolutely no pain in that front knee. If there is, you need a little bit more height under that buttock. Draw the shoulders down. So don't be afraid. Some of you might be up here with 3 or 4 towels. That's all good. Now, right leg, can you be on the top of the knee and on the top of the thigh? And can you press that right thigh bone towards the top of the mat? That should lengthen out the abdominal wall. And then from here, you can extend forward and go down onto your elbows. What you should be feeling is a fabulous stretch across the outer hip, piriformis, buttock area. And again, this is another pose we should do every day. And now tuck that back toe under, push up onto your hands, and let's switch sides. Whatever props you used on one side, bring them over to the other side. Start kneeling. Right leg goes forward. You do want to move the heel away from the groin. That will be so much more comfortable. You stretch the left leg back. And basically, you're filling the distance between you and the floor whilst maintaining a neutral pelvis. So just a folded towel underneath that right buttock. And that's just so that you can get that nice, square, level pelvis, and you want to be on the top of that left thigh. You want to be on the top of that left knee the best you can. And we start in an upright position. Bringing the awareness into the left hip. Press the left hip forward to the top of the mat. Descend your shoulder blades. And now lengthen out the spine, extending forward onto your elbows. And as you rest in this position here, you should be feeling a great stretch across the outer hip and buttock area. And this is another pose that I would do every single day. Keeping the hips balanced. It's also great for the lower back. And then tuck the back toes under, come on up. And we have one more to do, and that will conclude the quick hip and hamstring program. We're going to stand up next. Another one for your hamstrings. So I'm going to take my legs wide, and the legs need to be as wide as your arms span. So once you've got your legs wide, the toes are facing forward, baby toe and heel parallel. I'm going to press into the feet, pull the thighs strongly up, lift the heart center, leading with the heart, going to extend all the way forward, and I'm going to place the hands on the floor. Now, if your hands are not reaching the floor, it's just because the legs aren't wide enough. So please take those feet a little bit wider. Now press down into your toes, and that should make you feel like you swing a little bit further forward. And some of you will be able to get your head on the floor. Some of you will just hang the head, so just let the head go so that you get a little bit of traction in the back of the neck. But wherever you are, think about lifting up through the sit bones, opening out the back of those knees and saying, hello, hamstrings. Press down into your toes. Now this is a great hamstring stretch, but as a bonus, with your head down in this position, it is also fabulous for stress and insomnia, and it also helps to clear the sinuses. Press into your feet, lift your head if it was down, pull up on your thighs, and if you can, come on all the way up using your legs. Bringing your feet together, And that concludes our quick stretch for hips and hamstrings.